The house stood like a rotting tooth against the gray Oregon sky. Nathan Pierce hadn't been back in 3 months. The yellow caution tape had faded to the color of old bone, fluttering weakly in the salt wind that rolled up from the coast. The frame remained, blackened and skeletal. The roof had caved in on the left side, exactly where Owen's bedroom used to be, where the Superman bedsheets used to be. Nathan's truck idled at the curb. He hadn't turned off the engine. His hands stayed on the wheel, knuckles white, that familiar ache spreading through his forearms. The scar that ran from his left eyebrow to his cheekbone throbbed the way it always did when the fog rolled in thick. 3 months, 2 weeks, 4 days. He could still smell it, the gasoline, the smoke, Rebecca's perfume mixing with the chemical stink of accelerant. His phone buzzed in the cup holder. He ignored it. 7th call today. He knew who it was. Julie didn't give up easy. Never had. That's what Rebecca always loved about her, that stubborn streak that ran deeper than the Willamette River. The phone stopped, started again immediately. Nathan killed the engine. The silence rushed in like water filling a ship. He could hear everything now. The wind through burned timber, a dog barking 3 houses down, the creak of his truck settling, his own breathing, too fast, too shallow. His therapist would call this exposure therapy. His captain would call it torturing himself. Nathan didn't have a name for it. He just knew that every week he drove here, parked here, stared here, never got out, never walked up that cracked driveway where Owen used to draw chalk hopscotch courts. The phone buzzed again. This time a text. He glanced down despite himself. Owen isn't eating. 3rd day. Call me. Nathan's jaw clenched. His son, 8 years old, blonde hair like his mother, green eyes that used to light up at everything, at pancakes and cartoons and the way rain sounded on the roof. Those eyes didn't light up anymore. They hadn't since the night Nathan worked late, since the night the cartel came, since the night Rebecca pushed Owen into the crawl space under the kitchen and told him to be quiet. Be so quiet, baby. Don't make a sound. Owen hadn't made a sound since. Not a word, not a cry, not even a whimper when the social worker took him to foster care. Because Nathan Pierce, decorated DEA agent with 15 years of service, couldn't pass the evaluation. Couldn't prove he was stable enough to parent. Hard to be stable when your wife was dead and your son was broken, and the partner you trusted for 5 years sold you out for cartel money. Nathan's hand moved to the glove compartment, stopped. He'd promised his captain he wouldn't carry off duty. That was part of the deal. Administrative leave with pay, mandatory therapy twice a week, random drug tests because they found the empty bourbon bottles in his motel room, the Riverside Inn, $43 a night, cigarette burns on the nightstand, and a TV that only got 3 channels. He'd been there for 72 days. His phone rang again. This time he answered. What? His voice came out rough. He hadn't talked to anyone in 2 days. Nathan? Julie's voice was controlled, that nurse voice she used in the ER when everything was chaos and someone needed to be calm. I'm listening. Owen's caseworker called. He's losing weight. He won't sleep. He just sits in the corner of his room and draws. Nathan closed his eyes. Draws what? A pause. Fire. He draws fire, Nathan. The scar on his face throbbed harder. He's got therapists. That's what I'm paying for. He needs his father. His father is why his mother is dead. The words came out before he could stop them. They hung in the air like smoke, like the smoke that poured from his house while he was 40 miles away, interrogating a mid-level distributor who didn't know anything, while Tommy Chen smiled and checked his phone and probably knew exactly what was happening. Julie's voice changed, harder now. Harder now. Rebecca was my best friend for 20 years. I was at your wedding. I'm Owen's godmother. So I'm going to say this once. Get your head out of your ass and come see your son. Julie, I got temporary custody. Judge approved it this morning. Owen's at my house, Pinewood Street. You remember where I live? Nathan's throat tightened. You didn't have to do that. Someone had to. That foster home, those people are nice enough, but they've got 4 other kids, and Owen just sits there like he's furniture. He needs family. He has family. Then act like it. Julie's voice cracked slightly, the nurse mask slipping. I promised Rebecca. The night before she died, we had lunch, and she made me promise if anything ever happened, I'd watch out for Owen. I intend to keep that promise, with or without you. The line went dead. Nathan sat in his truck, staring at his burned house, holding a silent phone. The fog was rolling in thicker now. In an hour, this whole street would be invisible, swallowed in gray. He thought about the last thing Rebecca said to him that morning. He'd been running late, grabbing his keys, his badge, his gun. She was making Owen's lunch, peanut butter and jelly, cut diagonal the way he liked. Be safe, she'd said. He'd kissed her cheek. Always am. That was the last conversation they ever had. Nathan looked at his phone, at Julie's address in his contacts. Pinewood Street was only 12 minutes from here. He'd been there dozens of times. Summer barbecues, birthday parties. That year Julie hosted Thanksgiving and burned the turkey, and they all ate pizza instead, while Owen laughed so hard milk came out of his nose. His son was there now, living with Julie because Nathan was living in a motel that smelled like failure and bleach. He started the truck. The burned house disappeared in his rearview mirror, swallowed by fog. But Nathan knew it would still be there tomorrow. It was always there. Even when he closed his eyes, even when he slept, on the nights he managed to sleep. Some things you couldn't drive away from. But maybe, just maybe, there were some things you could drive toward. His phone buzzed. More time. Another text from Julie. Dinner's at 6. Don't make me come find you. Nathan almost smiled. Almost. Then he pointed his truck toward Pinewood Street and pressed the gas. Julie's house looked exactly the same. Small. Blue siding that needed repainting. White trim around the windows. A porch with 2 rocking chairs that Rebecca helped pick out 5 years ago. The maple tree in the front yard had gotten bigger, branches reaching toward the roof like fingers. Nathan sat in his truck across the street for 10 minutes before he made himself get out. The door opened before he reached the porch. Julie stood there in jeans and a faded university sweatshirt, arms crossed. Her auburn hair was pulled back in that same practical ponytail she always wore. Brown eyes that missed nothing. She looked tired. New lines around her mouth that hadn't been there 3 months ago. You're late, she said. Dinner was at 6. It's 6:40. Traffic. Liar. But she stepped aside. He's in the living room. Nathan's heart kicked against his ribs. He'd seen Owen twice since the fire, both times supervised visits at the social services building. White walls, plastic chairs, a woman with a clipboard watching everything. Owen had sat in the corner and drawn on paper the caseworker provided. He hadn't looked at Nathan once. The house smelled like garlic bread and tomato sauce, something Italian. Rebecca used to make lasagna every Sunday. The smell hit Nathan like a fist. Julie noticed. She always noticed. It's just spaghetti. Come on. The living room was small. Couch against one wall, TV on a stand, bookshelf crammed with medical textbooks and paperbacks. And there, on the floor by the window, was Owen. He looked smaller than Nathan remembered. His son sat cross-legged on the carpet, colored pencils scattered around him, drawing on a large sketch pad. Blonde hair fell into his eyes. He wore an oversized gray hoodie that swallowed his frame. His feet in those Velcro sneakers, the left one untied. He didn't look up when Nathan entered. Owen, Julie said gently, your dad's here. The boy's hand stopped moving, just for a second, then continued dragging blue across paper. Nathan's throat closed. He didn't know what to say, didn't know what to do with his hands. He shoved them in his jacket pockets. Hey, buddy. Nothing. Julie touched Nathan's arm. Give him time. Sit down. I'll get dinner ready. She disappeared into the kitchen. Nathan heard water running, pots clanking, normal sounds, sounds from a life that made sense. He lowered himself onto the couch. The springs creaked. Owen's shoulders tensed, but he kept drawing. Nathan could see the picture from here. Sky, lots of orange and red, black shapes that might be buildings, or might be something else. What are you drawing? Owen's pencil moved faster. Orange, red, yellow, fire colors. Nathan's hands clenched in his pockets. His therapist said not to push. Let Owen communicate in his own time, his own way. But sitting here watching his son draw flames felt like swallowing glass. "Dinner's ready," Julie called. "Come eat while it's hot." The kitchen table was small, round, only 3 chairs. Julie had set out plates, spaghetti in a big bowl, garlic bread, salad, a glass of milk for Owen, water for the adults. Owen came in without being asked again. He climbed into the chair facing the wall, picked up his fork, stared at his plate. Julie served everyone. She put 2 meatballs on Owen's plate. The boy pushed them to the side. "You need protein," Julie said. Not angry, just matter of fact. Owen twirled spaghetti on his fork, put it down, twirled it again. Nathan watched his son not eat, watched him push food around his plate like a chess piece. The kid was thin, too thin. His wrists looked like bird bones. "How's school?" Nathan tried. Owen's fork stopped moving. "He's not in school right now," Julie said quietly. "Caseworker thought it was too much. He'll start again next month." "Next month?" "Right." The silence stretched. Julie ate. Nathan tried to eat. The spaghetti tasted like cardboard, but that was probably him, not the food. Owen twirled and didn't take a single bite. Julie stood up. "Owen, sweetie, eat 3 bites of spaghetti and you can have dessert. I made that chocolate pudding you like." The boy looked up for the first time. Not at Nathan, at Julie. Something passed between them. Then Owen lifted his fork and took a small bite. Nathan felt something twist in his chest. Julie caught his eye. Her expression said what her mouth didn't. "This is what I do every meal. This is what it takes." They finished dinner. Owen ate 4 bites total. Julie praised him like he'd climbed a mountain. Then the boy disappeared back to the living room and his drawings. Nathan helped clear plates. His hands knew this kitchen. He'd washed dishes in this sink 100 times. Back when life was normal. Back when Rebecca would sit at this same table with Julie, drinking wine, laughing about something. "You can stay tonight," Julie said. She was loading the dishwasher, not looking at him. "Julie, I can't." "Yes, you can. He needs to see you, needs to know you're not gone too. I have the motel. That place is a dump, and you know it." Now she looked at him. "How much do you have left, money-wise?" Nathan's jaw tightened. "I'm fine." "Nathan, savings are almost gone. The house, the fire, insurance is fighting the claim because of the investigation. Captain's been helping, but—" He stopped, shook his head. "I'm figuring it out." Julie dried her hands on a towel. "Stay here. I work 3 12-hour shifts a week at the hospital. You can spend time with Owen, save your money, get back on your feet. I can't take advantage." Rebecca would want this. Her voice went quiet, hard. She would want her son taken care of, and she would want you to accept help instead of drowning in that motel room. Nathan looked through the doorway. Owen was drawing again. The TV was on but muted, some cartoon with bright colors. "Just tonight," Nathan said. "We'll start with tonight." Julie set up the pullout.
Couch. Sheets that smelled like fabric softener. 2 pillows. A blue blanket. Nathan's duffel bag sat by the door where he'd left it, just in case. At 8:30, Julie took Owen upstairs to bed. Nathan heard water running, teeth brushing, Julie's voice reading something. He couldn't hear the words, but he knew the rhythm, a bedtime story. Rebecca used to read to Owen every night, whatever book he picked. She did all the voices, made him laugh even when he was tired and cranky. Nathan sat on the couch and put his head in his hands. Footsteps on the stairs. Julie came down alone. "He asleep?" "Getting there." She sat in the armchair across from him. "This is good, Nathan, you being here. It matters." He didn't look at me once. He's 8 years old and his world exploded. Give him time. What if time doesn't fix it? Julie leaned forward. "Then we'll figure something else out, together. That's what people do." Nathan looked at her, really looked, the exhaustion in her face. The way her shoulders slumped when she thought no one was watching. She was carrying all of this. Owen's trauma, Nathan's breakdown, her own grief over Rebecca. "Why are you doing this?" he asked. "I told you, I promised Rebecca." "No, really, why?" Julie was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was different, softer, sadder. "The day before she died, we met for lunch, that little Thai place she loved. She was happy, talking about Owen's upcoming birthday party. She wanted to do a superhero theme." Julie smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "And then out of nowhere she got serious, made me promise if anything ever happened to her, I'd look after Owen, look after you too, actually. She said you'd try to handle everything alone and destroy yourself in the process." Nathan's throat burned. "I laughed it off," Julie continued, told her she was being morbid, "but she made me promise anyway, made me swear." She wiped at her eyes. 24 hours later, she was gone. "So yeah, this is why. Because she was my best friend. Because that little boy upstairs is all I have left of her. And because you're family, whether you like it or not." The house settled around them, quiet, warm, safe. Everything Nathan's life wasn't anymore. A sound from upstairs, small, choked. Julie was up the stairs before Nathan moved. He followed, slower, stopping in the doorway of the spare bedroom. Owen sat up in bed, eyes wide but unseeing. Nightmare. He was shaking, silent even in terror, not making a sound. Julie sat on the edge of the bed. Hey, baby, you're okay. You're safe. Julie's here." She pulled him into her arms. Owen buried his face against her shoulder. His small body shook, but no sound came out, not even crying. Nathan stood frozen in the doorway, watching this woman comfort his son, watching his son accept that comfort. From her, not from him. Julie looked up, met Nathan's eyes over Owen's head. The message was clear. This is what he needs. Can you do this? Can you be what he needs? Nathan didn't know, but he was going to try. 3 weeks changed everything and nothing. Nathan moved his life into Julie's spare room, what was left of it anyway. 2 duffel bags, a box of files from the DEA case, photos he couldn't look at yet. The rest was ash or evidence or gone. The routine built itself slowly. Julie worked her hospital shifts, 3 12-hour days a week. Nathan signed up with a temp agency, took day labor jobs when they came, painting, moving furniture, warehouse work, anything that paid cash and didn't require explanations. The rest of the time, he tried to reach his son. Owen existed in a bubble of silence. He ate when Julie asked, bathed when she reminded him, did the worksheets his therapist provided. But he moved through the house like a ghost, there but not there, present but unreachable, except with Julie. Nathan noticed it the first week. The way Owen gravitated toward her, how he'd sit next to her on the couch when she watched TV after work, how he'd bring his drawings to show her, spreading them on the kitchen table while she made dinner. He never brought them to Nathan. Tuesday morning, Julie had left for a 6 a.m. shift. Nathan made breakfast, scrambled eggs, toast, orange juice. He set Owen's plate in front of him. "Eat up, buddy. Got therapy at 10. Owen picked up his fork, set it down, stared at the eggs like they were a puzzle he couldn't solve. Nathan sat across from him, tried to remember what Julie did, the gentle persistence. 3 bites, then you can watch cartoons. Owen looked at the TV in the living room, then at his plate. He took the smallest bite possible, chewed forever, swallowed like it hurt. Good job, 2 more. It took 15 minutes. Nathan felt like he'd run a marathon by the end. But Owen ate. That was something. That was progress. The therapist's office was downtown, Riverside Medical Center, 3rd floor. Nathan sat on the waiting room while Owen went back with Dr. Patterson. 45 minutes every Tuesday and Thursday. Play therapy, they called it. Lots of toys, lots of drawing, lots of Owen not talking. Nathan's own therapist was in the same building, Dr. Walsh, different floor. Tuesdays at 11, right after Owen's session. "How are you sleeping?" Dr. Walsh asked. Same question every session. "Fine.
Nathan. 3-4 hours, same as before. Dr. Walsh made a note. She was in her 50s, gray hair, glasses that slipped down her nose. Patient in a way that made Nathan want to both trust her and run from the room. And the nightmares? Still there. Same content? Nathan stared at the wall behind her head, abstract painting, blue and green swirls that meant nothing. I'm in the interrogation room. Tommy's checking his phone, smiling. I know something's wrong, but I can't move, can't leave. Then smoke starts coming under the door. I try to open it, but it's locked. Tommy just keeps smiling. What do you feel when you wake up? Rage, guilt. Take your pick. Dr. Walsh set down her pen. You know intellectually that you're not responsible for your wife's death. Sure. But you don't believe it emotionally. Nathan's hands clenched on the chair arms. My partner sold me out. Give the cartel my address. They came to my house. If I'd been there, you'd likely be dead too. Maybe that would be better. Would it be better for Owen? The question hit like a slap. Nathan looked away. Dr. Walsh leaned forward. You're doing the work, Nathan. You're staying sober. You're rebuilding your relationship with your son. That takes courage. Doesn't feel like courage. It never does. That afternoon, Nathan picked Owen up from Julie's house where the neighbor watched him during appointments. The kid was in the backyard, drawing with sidewalk chalk. Nathan stood at the kitchen window and watched. Owen drew a house, square, triangle roof, 4 windows, a door. Then he picked up red chalk and scribbled over the whole thing until it was just a blur of color. Nathan's chest tightened. He went outside, sat on the back steps. Owen glanced at him, then returned to his chalk. Want to go to the park? Nathan tried. Owen drew another house, this one smaller. We could get ice cream after? The chalk scraped against concrete. House, scribble, house, scribble. Nathan tried something different. Your mom and I used to take you to Riverside Park. You were maybe 4. You loved the swings. Made us push you so high you thought you could touch the clouds. Owen's hand stopped moving. You'd laugh so hard. Your mom would pretend to be worried you'd fly away, but she was laughing too. Owen set down the chalk. He looked at Nathan. Really looked. For 3 seconds, maybe 4. His green eyes were so much like Rebecca's it physically hurt. Then he picked up the chalk and drew another house, but he didn't scribble it out. Julie came home at 7:30, exhausted. Her scrubs had a coffee stain, her ponytail had come half undone. She dropped her bag by the door and collapsed on the couch. Rough day? Nathan asked. Car accident on Highway 101, 3 casualties. 2 kids in the back seat survived. She closed her eyes. I need a shower and about 12 hours of sleep. I'll handle dinner. You're a saint. Nathan made grilled cheese and tomato soup. Simple. Owen ate without being prompted. 5 full bites. A miracle. After dinner, Owen did something new. He brought his sketch pad to the living room, but instead of sitting on the floor, he climbed onto the couch. Not next to Nathan, but not far away either. Close enough that Nathan could see what he was drawing. A person. Tall, dark hair, wearing what might be a jacket. Who's that? Nathan asked carefully. Owen didn't answer, but he drew another person next to the first, shorter, with what looked like a ponytail. Then a smaller figure between them, child-sized. Nathan's throat closed. Julie came back downstairs in sweatpants and an old t-shirt, hair wet from the shower. She saw the drawing, saw where Owen was sitting. Her eyes met Nathan's. Progress. That night, Nathan's phone buzzed while he was getting ready for bed. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer, but old instincts died hard. Pierce. Heavy breathing on the other end. Then a voice. Male. Accented. Agent Pierce. Been a while. Nathan's blood went cold. He walked quickly out of the living room, into the kitchen, closing the door. Who is this? You know who. Question is, do you know where your boy is right now? Nathan's hand was already moving to his waistband before he remembered. No gun. Not anymore. You touch him and I'll. Relax. Just a reminder. We're watching. That pretty nurse too. Nice house. Pinewood Street. Very cozy. The line went dead. Nathan stood in Julie's kitchen, shaking. Not from fear, from rage, pure and simple. He opened his phone, scrolled through contacts he hadn't touched in months, found the one he needed. Jake Morrison answered on the second ring. "Pierce, that you? I need information." "Man, you're supposed to be on leave, keeping your head down." "Victor Reyes, where is he?" A pause. "Why are you asking?" "Because someone just called me from his organization. They know where I'm staying. They know about Owen." Jake swore quietly. "Listen, I shouldn't be telling you this, but there's been chatter. Tommy Chen's name came up. DEA thinks he's trying to broker a deal. Give up Reyes in exchange for witness protection." Nathan's mind raced. Where's Tommy now? Unknown, disappeared 2 months ago, with about $2 million in cartel money. Everyone's looking. I need to find him first. "Nathan, listen to yourself. You're not DEA right now. You're a civilian. Let us handle this." "They threatened my son." "Then let me send protective detail. Let us do our job." Nathan looked through the kitchen doorway. He could see Owen's feet where he sat on the couch. Could hear the quiet scratch of pencil on paper. "How long until you can get someone here?" "Tonight. I'll make calls." "Do it." Nathan hung up. He should feel relieved. Protection was coming, protocol was being followed. But all he felt was the weight of the situation pressing down. This wasn't over. Wouldn't be over until Reyes was in prison or dead. And Tommy Chen was the key to both. Footsteps behind him. Julie stood in the doorway, arms crossed. "I heard your voice. What's wrong?" Nathan debated lying. Decided she deserved better. Got a threatening call. DEA sending protection. The color drained from Julie's face. "They found us? They're just trying to scare me." "Well, it's working." She moved past him to the window, pulled the curtain aside, looked out at the dark street. "What do we do?" "We keep Owen safe. That's what we do." Julie turned. Her brown eyes were fierce. "Don't you dare go after them. Don't you dare leave him again." "I'm not." "I see it in your face, Nathan. That look, like you're planning something." She crossed to him, poked a finger into his chest. "That boy is finally starting to heal. He sat next to you tonight. Do you understand what that means? He's letting you back in. You walk out that door looking for revenge, you'll lose him forever. I'm trying to protect him." "Then stay. Be his father. That's how you protect him." They stared at each other. Outside, a car drove past. Inside, Owen's pencil kept scratching. "Okay," Nathan said finally. "Okay." But even as he said it, his mind was working, calculating, because Julie was right about one thing. That boy was starting to heal, and Nathan would burn the world down before he let anyone threaten that. 2 months felt like 2 years and 2 days at the same time. The protective detail lasted 3 weeks before budget cuts pulled them away. Standard procedure, they said. No credible ongoing threat, they said. Nathan had stopped arguing after the first week. He knew how these things worked. Resources went where they were needed most, so he became the resource. He took a permanent job at the Riverside Dock warehouse. Morning shift, 6 to 2. Steady pay, benefits after 90 days. The work was mindless, loading and unloading shipping containers, but it kept him close. 15 minutes from Julie's house, 10 if he broke traffic laws. Life found a rhythm. Nathan worked, Julie worked. Owen existed in the space between them, still mostly silent but less absent. Small victories accumulated like coins in a jar. Owen spoke his first word on a Thursday. They were baking cookies, Julie's idea. She had Owen measuring flour while Nathan greased the baking sheets. The kitchen smelled like vanilla and butter. The radio played something soft in the background. Owen held up the measuring cup to Julie. His mouth opened, closed, opened again. Julie. One word, quiet as breathing, but it landed like a bomb. Julie's hands froze over the mixing bowl. Her eyes went wide, then wet. "Yeah, baby, I'm right here." Owen nodded and went back to measuring flour like he hadn't just spoken for the first time in 5 months. Nathan stood at the counter, holding a cookie sheet, something cracking open in his chest. His son had found his voice again, just not for him. Julie caught his expression. Later, after Owen went to bed, she found Nathan on the back porch. "He'll talk to you too, when he's ready." "I know. Nathan, I said I know." He softened his tone. I'm grateful. For all of it. For you. Julie sat beside him on the steps. The night was cool, fog rolling in from the coast. Rebecca used to say you were the most stubborn man she'd ever met, but also the most loyal. She was too good for me. She'd hate hearing you say that. They sat in comfortable silence. Over 2 months of living together, they'd learned each other's rhythms, when to talk, when to just exist side by side. I'm going back to work next week, Julie said. Full-time, 4 12-hour shifts. We need the money, and they need the staff. What about Owen? School starts Monday. His therapist thinks he's ready. She looked at Nathan. You'll need to do pickups. 3:15 at Riverside Elementary. Nathan's stomach tightened. Solo parenting. No Julie as buffer. What if... You'll be fine. He trusts you now. He just doesn't know how to show it yet. The weekend passed too quickly. Sunday night, Nathan helped Owen pack his backpack. New notebooks, fresh pencils, a lunchbox with superheroes on it that Julie bought. Are you nervous? Nathan asked. Owen shrugged. He was sitting on his bed in the spare room that had become his. Julie had put up curtains, bought a bookshelf, made it feel less temporary. School can be scary after time away, but your teacher sounds nice, Miss Reynolds. Julie talked to her. She knows you might not talk much yet. That's okay. Owen picked at a loose thread on his bedspread. Nathan tried again. When I was your age, I hated school. Used to pretend I was sick so I could stay home. Your grandma saw right through it every time. A flicker of interest in Owen's eyes. He'd never met Nathan's mother. She'd passed before Owen was born. She'd make me go anyway. Said facing hard things is how you get stronger. Nathan paused. I think she was right. You're one of the strongest people I know, buddy. Owen looked up, green eyes meeting blue, searching for something. Then he reached under his pillow and pulled out a folded piece of paper. He handed it to Nathan. Nathan unfolded it carefully. A drawing. 3 figures in front of a house. Tall man, woman with ponytail, small boy between them. They were all holding hands. Above them, in careful letters, family. The spelling was wrong, but the meaning was clear. Nathan's vision blurred. Yeah, that's right. Family. Owen took the drawing back, refolded it, put it in his backpack's front pocket. Monday morning arrived with gray skies and drizzle. Nathan drove Owen to school in his truck. The elementary school was red brick, playground out front, American flag hanging limp in the wet air. Kids everywhere, parents walking them to doors, backpacks and raincoats and noise. Owen's hand found Nathan's, small fingers gripping tight. I've got you. Let's find your classroom. Miss Reynolds was young, maybe 25, with kind eyes and a patient smile. She knelt to Owen Twavel. You must be Owen. I'm so glad you're here. I saved you the best desk right by the window. Owen looked at Nathan, back at Miss Reynolds. Your dad can walk you to your desk, she said. Then he has to go, but he'll be back at 3:15, I promise. The classroom was bright, colorful posters, books everywhere. Other kids settling in. Owen's desk was indeed by the window. He could see the playground from there. Nathan helped him unpack his backpack. You've got this. Be brave. Owen nodded, didn't let go of Nathan's hand. I'll be here at 3:15, right outside, first one here. Slowly, Owen released his grip. Nathan made it to his truck before the feeling hit, pride and terror mixing into something that sat heavy in his lungs. His kid was in school, normal kid things, healing. Work dragged. Every hour felt like 3. Nathan checked his phone constantly. No calls from the school. That was good. That meant Owen was okay. 3 o'clock couldn't come fast enough. Nathan was parked outside Riverside Elementary at 3:10. First in the pickup line, just like he promised. Parents trickled in around him, minivans and sedans, normal families doing normal things. The bell rang. Kids poured out like ants from a hill, noise and motion and chaos. Nathan scanned for Owen, there, coming down the steps with Miss Reynolds. His backpack looked huge on his small frame. Owen saw the truck. His face lit up. Not a smile, not quite, but close. Closer than Nathan had seen in months. Miss Reynolds walked him to the truck. He had a good day, participated in art class, ate his lunch. Thank you. Owen climbed into the passenger seat.
buckled himself in. They drove in silence for 2 blocks. Then Owen spoke. "Dad?" Nathan's hands tightened on the wheel. His son's voice, speaking to him. Finally. "Yeah, buddy? Can we get ice cream?" Nathan's throat closed. He managed to nod. Yeah, we can get ice cream." They went to Riverside Creamery. 2 scoops for Owen, chocolate and vanilla. 1 for Nathan, coffee. They sat at a small table by the window. Owen ate slowly, methodically, getting ice cream on his nose. Normal. This was normal. Nathan let himself believe, just for a moment, that the worst was behind them. Then he saw the car, black sedan, tinted windows, parked across the street. Same car he'd noticed this morning near Julie's house. Same car he'd seen twice last week near the warehouse. His training kicked in. He memorized the plate, checked exits, calculated distance to his truck. "Owen, finish up. We need to go." Something in his tone made Owen look up. The boy's eyes went wide. That survival instinct that lived in him now, the one the fire had burned into his DNA. Nathan pulled out his phone, called Julie. She answered on the first ring. "Are you home?" "Just got here. Why? What's wrong?" "Lock the doors. Don't open them for anyone but me." "Nathan, someone's following us. I'm bringing Owen now." He hung up, dropped cash on the table, took Owen's hand. The sedan was still there when they left. It didn't follow immediately, too obvious, but Nathan knew. They'd pick up the tail within 3 blocks. He drove carefully, no speeding, no erratic moves, just a father taking his son home, but his mind was tactical, planning. The gun he'd bought last week, against Julie's wishes, was locked in his truck's glove box. He'd promised not to carry it in the house, promised not to go looking for trouble, but trouble had come looking for him. They reached Julie's house. She stood in the doorway, face pale. Nathan hustled Owen inside. "Stay away from windows," he told them both. "I'm calling the police," Julie said. "Call Jake Morrison, DEA, numbers in my phone under Morrison." Nathan went to the window, careful. The sedan rolled past, slow, then turned the corner. His phone rang, unknown number. He answered. "What do you want?" Same voice from 2 months ago. "Just checking in, making sure your boy enjoyed his first day of school." Nathan's vision went red at the edges. "You stay away from him. We go where we want, when we want. You know how this works, Agent Pierce. You took something from us, now we take from you, piece by piece. I'll kill you." A laugh. "No, you won't. Because the moment you come after us, everyone you love dies. That's the deal. You live with what you did, every day, knowing we're watching." The line went dead. Julie stood behind him. Owen pressed against her side. What did they say? Nathan looked at his son, 8 years old, green eyes full of fear that was just starting to fade and now was back, fresh and sharp. This wasn't over. It would never be over until Victor Reyes was stopped. And Tommy Chen was the only way to make that happen. Nathan made his decision. "Pack bags," he said. "Enough for a week. We're leaving tonight." "Leaving? Nathan, we can't just—" "They know where we live. They followed us to Owen's school. This house isn't safe anymore." He looked at her. "I know a place, off the grid. We go there until I figure this out." Julie's jaw set, that stubborn look. "And then what? We run forever?" "No. Then I end this." The cabin sat 2 hours inland, buried in Douglas fir and silence. Nathan had worked a case here 6 years ago, drug lab in the woods. DEA seized the property, used it for surveillance operations, then forgot about it. Nathan never did. He'd kept the location filed away in his mind under emergency extraction. This qualified. They arrived after midnight, Owen asleep in the back seat, head on Julie's lap. The access road was barely visible, overgrown with ferns and blackberry bushes that scraped the truck's paint. No cell signal for the last 40 minutes. The cabin was small, 1 bedroom, living area with a wood stove, kitchenette with a propane stove, bathroom with a pump shower, windows covered in dust, furniture draped in sheets. This is off the grid. Julie stood in the doorway, arms crossed. This is safe. Nathan carried their bags inside, 3 duffel bags,
Everything they could grab in 20 minutes. No paper trail, no digital footprint. Nobody knows about this place except me. And whoever owned it before DEA, dead. Meth explosion took him out before the arrest. Julie looked around the cramped space. 1 bedroom. You and Owen take it. I'll sleep out here. Owen stirred awake as Nathan carried him inside. The boy's eyes opened, unfocused and confused. He looked around the dark cabin and his breathing quickened. Hey, you're okay, Julie said, taking him from Nathan. We're on an adventure, like camping, remember? You loved camping. Owen didn't look convinced, but he didn't cry. Progress. They settled in. Nathan got the wood stove going, while Julie made up the bed with sheets she found in a closet. Owen sat on the couch, clutching his backpack, watching everything with wide eyes. By 1 a.m., they were as comfortable as possible. Julie and Owen in the bedroom, Nathan on the couch with his gun on the coffee table and his phone useless in his pocket. He didn't sleep. Morning came gray and cold. Nathan had the fire going, coffee made from ancient grounds he found in the cupboard. Julie emerged from the bedroom looking exhausted. He finally fell asleep around 3. Nightmares. I heard. She poured coffee into a chipped mug. How long are we staying here? However long it takes. That's not an answer. Nathan looked out the window. Trees everywhere. No neighbors, no roads, just wilderness. I need to find Tommy Chen. He's got information that can put Victor Reyes
away for good. Once Reyes is locked up, this ends. And how exactly do you plan to find someone the entire DEA can't locate? I know Tommy. Worked with him for 5 years. I know how he thinks. Julie sat at the small table. You're going to leave us here. It wasn't a question. Just for a day, maybe 2. You'll be safe. Nobody can find this place. Nathan, I have to do this. For Owen. For all of us. He met her eyes. I can't live like this, looking over my shoulder, waiting for them to strike. Owen's finally talking again, finally healing. I won't let them take that away. Julie was quiet for a long moment. Then, when? Tomorrow morning. I'll stock supplies today. Make sure you have everything you need. What if something happens to you? It won't. But what if it does? What if you leave and don't come back? What do I tell Owen? Nathan didn't have an answer for that. Owen appeared in the bedroom doorway, rubbing his eyes. He wore his Superman pajamas, the ones Julie had bought him last month. His blonde hair stuck up in every direction. Morning, buddy, Nathan said. Hungry? Owen nodded. Breakfast was canned soup heated on the propane stove. Not ideal, but Owen ate it. 6 full spoonfuls without prompting. Julie praised him quietly. After breakfast, Nathan showed Owen the property, stayed close to the cabin, but let the boy explore. There was a creek 50 yards downhill, barely more than a trickle this time of year. Owen crouched beside it, watching water bugs skate across the surface. Pretty cool, right? Nathan said. Owen nodded. He picked up a stick and dragged it through the water, creating ripples, destroying them, creating more. I need to go away for a little bit, Nathan said. No point in lying. The kid was too smart. Tomorrow, just for a day or 2, Julie will be here with you. The stick stopped moving. I know you're scared. I am too. But I'm going to fix this. Make sure the bad people can't find us anymore. Owen looked up. His green eyes were old. Too old for 8. Like Mom? The words hit like a fist. Nathan's throat closed. I couldn't save your mom, but I can save you. That's what I'm trying to do. Dad gets hurt too? No, buddy. I'm coming back. I promise. Owen returned to his stick. The water. The ripples. Nathan didn't know if his son believed him. That afternoon, Nathan drove into the nearest town, 45 minutes on winding mountain roads. Cedar Falls. Population 800. 1 gas station, 1 general store, 1 diner that looked like it hadn't updated since 1975. He bought supplies. Canned goods, batteries, firewood, a burner phone. Paid cash. Wore a baseball cap low over his eyes. Nobody looked twice at him. On the way back, he made calls on the burner. Jake Morrison answered on the 3rd ring. This better be important. I'm in a budget meeting. I need Tommy Chen's last known location. Silence. Then, you've got to be kidding me? Do I sound like I'm kidding?
Nathan, where are you? Your captain's been trying to reach you. You missed your therapy appointment. Your boss at the warehouse says you didn't show up. Last known location, Jake. I can't give you that information. You know I can't. He's going after my family. I need to stop this. Then come in. Let us protect you. Your protection lasted 3 weeks before budget cuts pulled it. I'm done waiting for the system to work. Jake sighed. Listen to me very carefully. Tommy Chen is not someone you want to find. Word on the street is he's paranoid, armed, and desperate. He knows the cartel wants him dead. He'll shoot first and not bother with questions. So tell me where he is before I start looking the hard way. Another long pause. Then, last confirmed sighting was 3 weeks ago. Beach house in Northern California. Town called Anchor Bay. Small place, off-season. Rented under a shell corporation, but the landlord ID'd him from a photo. Address? Nathan. Address, Jake. Jake rattled off a street number. If you get yourself killed, I'm not explaining it to your kid. Noted. Nathan hung up. He had what he needed. Back at the cabin, he found Julie teaching Owen to play cards. Go fish. Simple. Owen was smiling. Actually smiling. The sight made Nathan's chest ache. Julie looked up, read his expression. You found him. Yeah. When do you leave? 4 a.m. I'll be there by noon, back by tomorrow night. Owen played a card, drew another. Didn't look at Nathan. That evening, Julie made dinner from the canned supplies. Chili, crackers. It was better than it had any right to be. They ate at the small table, knees touching in the cramped space. Owen spoke twice, once to ask for water, once to tell Julie she won the card game. After dinner, Julie took Owen to bed. Nathan heard her reading to him. Some book she'd brought. Her voice was steady, calm, normal. He cleaned the guns. The one from his truck, the backup he'd stashed here years ago. Checked ammunition, made plans. Julie emerged an hour later. He's asleep. Good. She sat next to Nathan on the couch, watched him work. You really think you can do this? Find Tommy, get the information, stop Reyes? I have to. That's not an answer. Nathan set down the gun. Rebecca used to say I was too stubborn to know when to quit. Maybe she was right. But that kid in there deserves a life without fear. Deserves to go to school without being watched. Deserves to heal. He looked at Julie. You both do. Julie's eyes were wet. When Rebecca asked me to look after Owen, I said yes without thinking. Of course I would. She was my best friend. But I didn't understand what it would mean. The weight of it. Loving someone else's child like he's your own. Julie, let me finish. She wiped her eyes. These past months, watching him heal, helping him find his voice again, it's been the hardest thing I've ever done, but also the most important. And you, stumbling through this, learning how to be his dad again, that's been hard to watch too. But you're doing it. You're showing up. What's your point? My point is, if you leave tomorrow and something happens to you, that boy loses his father twice. I lose... She stopped, looked away. Julie, just come back. Whatever else happens, come back. Nathan understood what she wasn't saying, what had been building between them for weeks. The quiet moments, the shared glances, the way they'd become a unit, the three of them, a family built from grief and necessity. I'll come back, he said. She leaned her head on his shoulder. They sat like that until the fire burned low and the cabin grew cold. At 3:30 a.m., Nathan was packed. Julie stood in the kitchen doorway in her sweatshirt and pajama pants, arms wrapped around herself. There's enough supplies for a week. If I'm not back in 3 days, take the truck and drive to Jake Morrison. His number's programmed in the burner phone. You'll be back in 3 days. Julie, you'll be back because you promised Owen, and you don't break promises to that boy. Not anymore. Nathan nodded. He started to leave, then stopped, turned back, pulled Julie into a hug. She held on tight. Come home. I will. He left before he could change his mind, before the fear could take root, before he could think too hard about what he was walking into. The truck's headlights cut through absolute darkness. 4 hours to Anchor Bay. 4 hours to find Tommy Chen. 4 hours to end this one way or another. Anchor Bay looked like the end of the world. Gray ocean, gray sky, gray houses clinging to cliffs like barnacles.
Population maybe 300 in summer, half that in October. The kind of place people came to disappear. Perfect for Tommy Chen. Nathan found the beach house at 11:40, end of a gravel road. Modern construction, all windows and angles. Expensive. 2 cars in the driveway. One was Tommy's. Nathan recognized the silver BMW. His old partner always did have expensive taste. The second car was newer, black SUV, rental plates. Nathan's instinct screamed wrong. He parked a quarter-mile back, approached on foot, gun drawn, moving through scrub brush and coastal pine. The house sat quiet, no movement visible through the windows. He circled around back, deck overlooking the ocean, sliding glass door, open. Definitely wrong. Nathan moved inside. Living room, expensive furniture, everything neat. Too neat, like a showroom. Then he saw the blood, just drops, leading down the hallway, fresh enough to still be wet. Nathan followed, gun up, every nerve firing. The hallway opened into a bedroom. Tommy Chen sat in a chair by the window. He'd been beaten, face swollen, shirt torn, hands zip-tied to the chair arms. Blood from his nose had dried on his chin, but he was alive, eyes open, watching Nathan enter. "Took you long enough," Tommy said. His voice was thick, probably broken nose. "Who did this? Does it matter?" Tommy tried to laugh, coughed instead. "They're coming back. Left 20 minutes ago. Reyes sent them to tie up loose ends." Nathan moved to the window, checked sightlines. "How many?" 3. Professionals, not the usual cartel muscle. "Why are you still breathing?" "Wanted me to suffer. Let me think about it." Tommy looked at Nathan. "You shouldn't have come. I need the evidence, whatever you have on Reyes." "You think I'm just going to hand it over? After everything?" Nathan crossed the room, put the gun against Tommy's temple. 2 million reasons. You betrayed me, gave up my address, got my wife killed. So yeah, you're going to hand it over. Tommy closed his eyes. "Rebecca. God, Nathan, I didn't know they'd—" "Don't say her name. I was in debt, gambling. They owned me. I gave them information, just small stuff at first. Then they wanted more. They said nobody would get hurt, just some addresses, some raid schedules. Where's the evidence?" "Safe deposit box, bank in Portland, keys in my wallet, back pocket." Nathan retrieved the wallet, found the key, small, bronze, number stamped on it. "What's in the box?" "Everything. Financial records, shipping manifests, names. Reyes runs his operation through a network of shell companies, real estate, import-export, restaurants. I documented all of it. Figured it was my insurance policy. Lot of good it did you." "Yeah, well, turns out Reyes doesn't negotiate." Nathan pocketed the key. He should leave, get out before the hired muscle return. But something stopped him. "Why'd you do it, Tommy? For real, not the debt, the choice. We were partners." Tommy met his eyes. "Because I'm weak. That's the truth. You're the hero, the guy who does everything right. I'm the guy who takes shortcuts, who wants the easy money, the nice car. Rebecca used to say I'd get myself in trouble one day. She was right. She was right about a lot of things. I'm sorry, for whatever that's worth." Nathan looked at the man who'd been his partner for 5 years, who'd stood at his wedding, who'd held Owen as a baby, who'd sold him out for money. "It's worth nothing." He turned to leave. Tommy's voice stopped him. "Nathan, they know about the cabin." Nathan's blood froze. "What? The safe house. They pulled it out of me about an hour ago. That's why they left. They're going there now." The world tilted. "You're lying." "I wish I was." Tommy's face was genuine, desperate. "Cut me loose. We call the DEA. We can—" Nathan was already running. He hit the truck at full sprint, tires spitting gravel, phone in his hand, no signal. He drove faster, pushing the truck to 80 on roads designed for 40. 20 minutes to find signal. He called Julie's burner phone. Nothing. Straight to voicemail. He called Jake Morrison. "Nathan, where are you? I need immediate backup, armed response, coordinates." He rattled off the Pabin's location. "They're targeting my family. 3 hostile, professionals, ETA unknown. Backup is 40 minutes out from that location, maybe more. Then tell them to hurry." Nathan threw the phone. 4 hours. It would take him 4 hours to get back.
Julie and Owen had maybe minutes. He pushed the truck harder. 90, 95, the engine screaming. 4 hours became 3:45 through sheer force of will and ignored speed limits. At the cabin, Julie knew something was wrong. The birds had stopped singing. She'd spent enough time outdoors to know what that meant. Predators, something that didn't belong.
Owen, she said quietly, we need to play the hiding game. Owen looked up from his coloring book. He'd been drawing a house, yellow, with a red door. The game from practice? His voice was small. That's right, just like we practiced. Nathan had insisted. Day 1 at the cabin, showed them the cellar, accessed through a trapdoor in the bedroom closet, hidden under a rug, stocked with water, blankets, flashlight, just in case, he'd said. Julie had thought he was paranoid. Now she grabbed Owen's hand and moved fast. Into the bedroom, into the closet. She pulled back the rug, opened the trapdoor. Down you go, baby, quick and quiet. Owen climbed down the ladder. Julie followed, pulled the trapdoor closed above them. The cellar was tiny, maybe 6 feet by 6 feet. Dirt walls, smell of earth and damp. The flashlight cast weak yellow light. Owen pressed against Julie's side. She could feel him shaking. Remember the rules, she whispered. No sounds, no matter what we hear. Owen nodded. Footsteps above them, heavy, multiple people. Julie's hand found the gun Nathan had left, backup pistol. She'd never fired a gun in her life, but she knew how. Point, pull trigger, hope. Voices filtered down. Male, speaking Spanish, then English. Check the bedroom. More footsteps, closer. The closet door opened. Julie held her breath. Owen had his face buried in her sweatshirt. She could feel his heart hammering. Footsteps on the floor above them, right on top of the trapdoor. A voice. Anything? Negative. Place is empty. Boss said they're here. Keep looking. The footsteps moved away, into other rooms. Julie's lungs burned. She let herself breathe, slowly, silently. Owen shifted. His foot knocked the flashlight. It rolled, clattered against the dirt wall. The sound was like a gunshot in the silence. The footsteps stopped. Wait, you hear that? Julie's hand tightened on the gun. Owen had gone completely still, not breathing, not moving. The closet door opened again. Footsteps, closer. Then a voice, different, outside, urgent. Car coming up the access road, fast, we need to move. The targets, now, before we're trapped. The footsteps retreated, rushed. Julie heard the cabin's back door slam open, engines starting, vehicles driving away fast. She waited, counted to 100, then another 100. Finally, carefully, she pushed the trapdoor open. The cabin was destroyed, furniture overturned, cushions slashed, their bags dumped and searched, but empty. The men were gone. Owen climbed out after her. His eyes were huge, terrified. Did I do bad? He whispered. The noise? No, baby, you were perfect. Julie pulled him close. So perfect. The sound of an engine, getting closer. Julie raised the gun, pointed it at the door. The door burst open. Nathan stood there, wild-eyed, gun drawn. He took in the scene, the destruction, Julie with the gun, Owen clinging to her. You're okay. His voice broke. You're okay. He crossed the room in 3 strides, pulled them both into his arms, held them like he'd never let go. Owen was crying, finally crying, loud and messy and real. I thought, Nathan couldn't finish. I thought I lost you. We're okay, Julie said, but her voice shook. They were here. They were right above us. Owen's foot made a noise and they almost... But they didn't. You're safe. You're both safe. Owen pulled back, looked at his father. You came back. I'll always come back. Always. The boy's face crumpled. I thought you died like Mom. Nathan dropped to his knees, eye level with his son. I'm not going anywhere. I promise. No more leaving, no more hiding. We end this now. How? Julie asked. Nathan pulled the key from his pocket. This. Tommy gave it up. Safe deposit box with everything we need to put Reyes away forever. And Tommy? Cartel got to him first. He's either dead or will be soon. Julie looked at the destroyed cabin, at Owen still shaking.
at Nathan on his knees making promises he might not be able to keep. So, what now? Nathan stood. Now we go to Portland, get the evidence, take it to the DEA. We do this right, legal, by the book. And if Reyes comes after us again, he won't get the chance. Jake's got backup coming, full protective detail. We're not doing this alone anymore. Owen grabbed Nathan's hand, then Julie's, standing between them. We stay together? The boy asked. Nathan looked at Julie. She looked back, some understanding passing between them. Yeah, Nathan said, we stay together, no matter what. Outside, sirens approached, red and blue lights flickering through the trees. The cavalry had finally arrived, but the real fight was just beginning. The federal courthouse in Portland looked like a fortress, concrete and glass, metal detectors, armed marshals every 20 feet, security cameras tracking every angle. After 2 weeks of protective custody, Nathan knew every exit, every blind spot, every face. Today was day 3 of testimony, the day Nathan would face Victor Reyes in court. Julie sat in the gallery behind the prosecution table. She'd insisted on being there, despite the risks. Owen was in a safe house, 15 miles away, protected by 4 federal agents and a security system that could withstand a small army. Nathan had seen him that morning through video call. The boy looked tired, scared, but he'd managed a small wave. Come home soon, Dad. 3 words that gutted Nathan every time he thought about them. The bailiff stood. All rise. The Honorable Judge Patricia Westfield presiding. Everyone stood. The judge entered. Older woman, gray hair, sharp eyes that missed nothing. She'd been a prosecutor before the bench. She understood what this case meant. Be seated. We'll continue with the prosecution's witness. Mr. Pierce, please take the stand. Nathan had testified before, dozens of times. Drug cases, trafficking cases, murder cases. But this was different. This was personal. Victor Reyes sat at the defense table in an expensive suit, perfectly groomed, calm. He looked like a businessman, not a monster. His lawyer was a shark from San Francisco, $3,000 suit, smile like a blade. Nathan took the stand.
Its seat. The prosecutor, Amanda Chen, no relation to Tommy, approached with a folder. Agent Pierce, can you describe your relationship with Thomas Chen? He was my partner for 5 years, DEA, Joint Task Force on Cartel Operations. And during that time, did you trust him? Completely. What changed? Nathan's jaw tightened. I discovered he was on Victor Reyes's payroll. He provided information that led to the death of my wife and the targeting of my son. Victor Reyes didn't react, didn't even blink. The prosecutor continued. The safe deposit box key recovered from Mr. Chen. Can you tell the court what was inside? Financial records, shipping manifests, communications, everything documenting Mr. Reyes's criminal enterprise, money laundering through real estate, drug trafficking through import companies, 12 years of evidence. And this evidence directly implicates the defendant? Yes. His signature is on dozens of documents, wire transfers, property deeds, all connecting back to cartel operations. The defense attorney stood. Objection. The witness is not a forensic accountant. He can't verify signatures. Sustained. Mr. Pierce, stick to what you personally observed. Amanda nodded. Agent Pierce, the night of the attack on your home, walk us through what happened. Nathan had told this story a dozen times. To police, to DEA investigators, to therapists. It never got easier. I was interrogating a suspect. My partner, Tommy Chen, was with me. The interrogation went longer than expected. Around 9 p.m., I got a call from a neighbor. My house was on fire. What did you do? I left immediately, drove home. It took 40 minutes. And when you arrived? Nathan's hands clenched. The house was gone. Fire department was still there. They told me my wife was dead. My son survived. He'd been found in the crawl space. Did you see Thomas Chen after you left the interrogation? No, he disappeared, took $2 million in cartel money and went into hiding. And the defendant's connection to this attack? Witnesses placed his men at my house that night. Security footage from a neighbor's camera shows a vehicle registered to one of his shell companies. The defense attorney was up again. Objection. Hearsay and speculation? Your Honor, we have the footage and registration records in evidence, Amanda said. Overruled. Continue. The testimony went on for 2 hours. Evidence, connections, the web of Victor Reyes's empire spread across the courtroom like a map of hell. Finally, Amanda stepped back. No further questions. The defense attorney stood, James Holloway. He moved like a predator. Agent Pierce, you've had a difficult few months, haven't you? That's one way to put it. Lost your wife. Nearly lost your son. You were placed on administrative leave, mandatory therapy, living in a motel. Would you say you were in a good mental state during this time? Objection, Amanda said. Relevance. Goes to the witness's credibility, Your Honor. I'll allow it. Answer the question, Mr. Pierce. Nathan met Holloway's eyes. I was grieving, but my testimony is accurate. You were also drinking heavily, is that correct? For a period, yes. How long? 2 months. 2 months of heavy drinking while investigating my client, while gathering this supposed evidence. How can this court trust your judgment? The evidence speaks for itself. Documents don't lie, but they can be misinterpreted by someone looking for revenge rather than justice. Nathan's temper flared. Your client murdered my wife. Allegedly. That's why we're here, isn't it? To determine the truth. Holloway smiled. You want revenge, Agent Pierce. Understandable, but wanting it doesn't make my client guilty. The evidence makes him guilty. Evidence gathered by a grieving, alcoholic former agent with a vendetta. Holloway turned to the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll hear from our own experts about these documents, about chain of custody, about proper procedure. What we have here is a man who lost everything and needed someone to blame. My client became that target. That's not... No further questions. Nathan left the stand feeling like he'd been filleted. Julie caught his eye from the gallery. Her expression said what her mouth couldn't. You did good. Hold on. The trial recessed for the day. Nathan was escorted back to the Witness Protection Hotel. 3 rooms, rotating guards, meals delivered, windows that didn't open, a prison by another name. His phone rang. Secure line. He answered. Dad? Owen's voice, small and scared. Hey, buddy, how are you? When are you coming home? Soon. Few more days. Are the agents treating you okay? They're nice, but I miss you. And Julie. Julie was in the room next door, separated for security protocol. Nathan could hear the TV through the wall. I miss you too. But you're being so brave. I'm proud of you. A pause. Then, Dad, what if the bad man gets out? Nathan's chest tightened. He won't. I promise. You promised to come back from the cabin, and you almost didn't. The words hit hard. You're right, I did. But I made it, didn't I? And I'll make this right, too. Okay. Owen didn't sound convinced. Can I talk to Julie? Hold on. Nathan knocked on the connecting door. Julie opened it. He handed her the phone. Hey, baby, she said, her voice transforming. Softer, warmer. Yeah, I miss you, too. So much. Nathan walked to the window. Portland spread below. City lights. Normal people living normal lives. Going to work, coming home, taking their kids to school. He wanted that. Wanted it so badly it ached. His phone buzzed. Text from Jake Morrison. We've got a problem. Call me. Nathan called. What happened? Reyes made bail. The world stopped. What? Judge set bail at $5 million. Defense posted it 20 minutes ago. He's out. That's impossible. He's a flight risk. He's dangerous. His lawyers argued he's a legitimate businessman being persecuted. Judge bought it. Ankle monitor, travel restrictions. But he's out. Nathan's hand tightened on the phone. He'll run, or he'll come after us. We've got surveillance on him, 24/7.
Even. And you're protected. He makes one wrong move, we've got him. That's not good enough. It's the system, Nathan. We work within it, or we're no better than he is. The line went dead. Nathan stood at the window, watching the city, knowing somewhere out there, Victor Reyes was free, planning, waiting. A sound from outside the hotel room door. Voices, raised. Nathan moved to the door, looked through the peephole. Marshals in the hallway, talking urgently into radios, moving fast. Nathan opened the door. What's happening? The lead marshal turned. His face was grim.
Reyes. He cut his ankle monitor 15 minutes ago. SUV picked him up. He's in the wind. What about the surveillance? They lost him in downtown traffic. Nathan's blood went cold. Where's my son? Safe house is secure. Extra units en route. I need to talk to him. Now. The marshal handed over a phone. Nathan dialed. It rang and rang. No answer. Get me there, Nathan said. Now. Sir, protocol says. I don't care about protocol. That's my son. Julie appeared in her doorway. She'd heard everything. Her face was white. Nathan, stay here. Marshals will protect you. Like hell. If you're going, I'm going. No time to argue. They moved together, down the elevator, into armored SUVs, racing through Portland streets with sirens blaring. 15 miles in 12 minutes. The safe house was a suburban home. Quiet street, normal neighborhood. 2 agent vehicles out front. Nathan was out before the SUV stopped moving, gun drawn, Julie behind him. The front door was open. Nathan's heart stopped. He moved inside, tactical, checking corners, living room clear, kitchen clear, voices upstairs, movement. Nathan took the stairs 3 at a time. Owen's room was at the end of the hall, door closed. Nathan kicked it open. 4 federal agents stood in defensive positions, guns drawn, surrounding Owen, who sat on the bed, clutching his backpack. The window was open, curtain blowing in the night breeze. An agent turned. Someone tried to breach through the window. We neutralized the threat. The boy is safe. Owen saw Nathan. His face crumpled. Dad! Nathan holstered his gun and crossed the room, pulled his son into his arms. Owen was crying, shaking, holding on like he'd never let go. I've got you, Nathan said. I've got you. Julie reached them, put her arms around both, the 3 of them holding each other while federal agents secured the perimeter and sirens wailed in the distance. Victor Reyes had made his move and missed. But Nathan knew what that meant. The trial was over. The legal system had failed. This would end another way. 6 months changed everything. Victor Reyes was serving 25 years in federal prison. No parole, maximum security. The attempted breach at the safe house had been his final mistake. Federal agents caught him 3 blocks away, in a car loaded with fake passports and $2 million in cash. The trial resumed. The evidence was overwhelming. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Tommy Chen had died 2 days after Nathan found him, bled out in that beach house while waiting for help that came too late. His testimony, recorded before his death, had sealed Reyes's fate. The cartel operations collapsed, 43 arrests, assets seized. The network Nathan and Tommy had tracked for years finally dismantled. It was over. Nathan resigned from the DEA. The job had taken everything from him. He couldn't go back to it. Didn't want to. He took a position with a private security firm, consulting work, good pay, stable hours, home every night by 6. Julie went back to nursing, but part-time, 3 shifts a week, enough to keep her skills sharp and her bank account stable, enough to still have time for the things that mattered. Owen was the reason for all of it. They'd moved to a new town, Clearwater, 40 miles from Riverside, small, quiet, good schools, the kind of place where neighbors knew each other and kids rode bikes on summer evenings. Nathan rented a house, 2 bedrooms, backyard with a tire swing. Nothing fancy, but it was theirs. Safe, clean, full of possibility. Julie lived 2 blocks away, her own place, 1-bedroom apartment above a bookstore. They talked about her moving in, decided to wait, for Owen's sake, let things develop naturally. But they were together every day. Breakfast at Nathan's, dinner at Julie's, weekends at the park or the beach, or just existing in the same space. Family. They'd become family. The elementary school gym smelled like floor wax and anticipation. Nathan sat in the 3rd row, Julie beside him, folding chairs packed with parents holding phones and cameras. The stage was decorated with construction paper trees and a cardboard castle. Owen's class was performing a play, something about knights and dragons. Owen had been practicing his lines for weeks. His lines, plural. The kid who hadn't spoken for 5 months was now reciting Shakespeare.
Well, a child's version, but still. The lights dimmed, parents quieted, the curtain opened. There was Owen, stage left, wearing a paper crown and a cape Julie had helped him make. He looked terrified. His eyes scanned the audience until they found Nathan. Nathan gave him a thumbs up. Owen's shoulders relaxed. He smiled. The play began. Kids forgot their lines. Someone's sword fell off. A dragon tripped over her tail. It was chaos and perfection. Owen delivered his lines, clearly, loudly, with confidence that Nathan's throat tight. When the curtain closed, the audience erupted. Nathan stood, clapping until his hands hurt. Julie was crying. Happy tears, pride tears. They waited outside the gym. Kids poured out in costumes, high on sugar and adrenaline. Owen emerged, still wearing his crown, scanning the crowd. He saw them, ran over. "Did you see me?" "You were amazing," Julie said, pulling him into a hug. "Best night I've ever seen," Nathan added. "Very convincing." Owen beamed. "Can we get ice cream? Miss Reynolds said we could celebrate." "Ice cream sounds perfect." They walked to the parking lot together, Owen between them, holding both their hands, chattering about the play, about how someone forgot their lines, but he helped them remember, about how the dragon was actually pretty scary up close. Normal. This was normal. At the ice cream shop, Owen got chocolate and vanilla, his usual. Nathan got coffee, Julie got strawberry. They sat at a small table by the window, watching people walk by. Owen ate methodically, getting ice cream on his nose, like always. Julie wiped it off with a napkin, laughing. Nathan watched them, memorizing this moment, the ease of it, the light. "Dad?" Owen looked up. "Can I ask something?" "Anything, buddy." "Is Julie going to live with us?" The question hung in the air. Julie's spoon stopped halfway to her mouth. Nathan met her eyes. They'd been dancing around this for months. The feelings that had grown from necessity into something real, something that felt like betrayal and salvation at the same time. Rebecca would have wanted this. Julie had said it once, late at night when they'd both been too tired to pretend. She told me if anything happened to her, she hoped you'd find someone. She said, "Probably that nurse friend of mine. You two argue like an old married couple." Nathan had laughed, then cried, then kissed Julie for the first time. That was 3 months ago. They'd been careful, slow, making sure Owen was ready, making sure they were ready. "Would you want that?" Nathan asked Owen. "Julie living with us?" Owen looked at Julie. "Would you still be Julie, or would you be like a mom?" Julie's eyes filled. She reached across the table, took Owen's hand. "I'll be whatever you need me to be. If you want to call me Julie, that's perfect. If someday you want to call me something else, that's okay too. But I'm not trying to replace your mom. Nobody could do that." "But you love us?" Owen asked. "Like family?" "Yeah, baby. I love you both. So much." Owen nodded, serious, thinking. Then he looked at Nathan. "I think it would be good. She makes better pancakes than you." Nathan laughed. The tension broke. "She really does." "So that's a yes?" Julie asked. "That's a yes," Owen confirmed, then went back to his ice cream like he hadn't just rearranged their entire world. That evening, after Owen went to bed, Nathan and Julie sat on the back porch. The tire swing swayed in the breeze. Lightning bugs flickered in the yard. "He really okay with this?" Julie asked. "I think so. He's been through so much, lost so much, but he knows you're not going anywhere. That matters. What about you? Are you okay with this?" Nathan was quiet for a moment. Rebecca's been gone almost a year. Some days it feels like yesterday. Some days it feels like a lifetime ago. He looked at Julie. "I'll always love her, always miss her. But I'm alive. Owen's alive. We get to keep going. And I think she'd want us to do that with you." Julie leaned her head on his shoulder. "She was my best friend. I think about her every day. Wonder what she'd say about all this." "She'd probably say it took us long enough to figure it out." Julie laughed. "Yeah, she would." They sat in comfortable silence, the night settling around them. Tomorrow, Julie would start packing. By the weekend, she'd be moved in. They'd figure out the logistics. the space, the new normal. But for now, this was enough. Inside, a sound. Small footsteps. Owen appeared in the doorway in his Superman pajamas. "Can't sleep?" Nathan asked. Owen shook his head. "Bad dream." "Come here." Owen climbed into Nathan's lap. Too big for it, really, but he folded himself in anyway. Julie put her arm around them both. "Want to talk about it?" Julie asked. "The fire, but different this time." "Different how?" "You were there, both of you, and we all got out together." Nathan's throat tightened. Even Owen's nightmares were healing, changing, making room for hope. "We're all here now," Nathan said. "Safe, together. Promise?" "Promise." Owen settled against Nathan's chest. His breathing slowed, deepened. He fell asleep there, in the space between them. Nathan looked at Julie over their son's head. She smiled. Tired, happy, home. This wasn't the life Nathan had planned. Wasn't the family he'd imagined. Rebecca was supposed to be here. Was supposed to watch Owen grow up. Was supposed to grow old with Nathan. But she wasn't. And life had continued anyway. Cruel and kind at the same time. He'd lost everything in the war with the cartel. His home, his wife, his career, nearly his son, nearly himself. But one person had stayed, had refused to leave, had loved them both through the worst of it. And somehow, impossibly, they'd found their way to this. To a back porch in a small town, to a sleeping child, and a second chance. To a future that looked nothing like the past, but felt like home anyway. Nathan carried Owen inside, tucked him into bed. The boy didn't wake, just curled into his pillow, Superman cape still hanging from his bedpost. Julie stood in the doorway. "He's going to be okay." "Yeah, he is." "What about you?" Nathan looked at the room, at the drawings on the walls. Houses now, not fires. Houses with people in them. Family. "I'm getting there." Julie took his hand, led him out of the room, left the door cracked the way Owen liked it, light from the hallway spilling in. They stood in that hallway, the house quiet around them. Tomorrow would come with its challenges and adjustments, the work of building something new from the pieces of something broken. But tonight, they had this. Each other, Owen sleeping safely down the hall, a life that had survived the worst and was finally learning to live again. Nathan pulled Julie close. She fit against him perfectly, like she'd always belonged there. "Thank you," he said, "for staying, for all of it. Where else would I go? You two are my family now. That's what family does." They stood there, two people who'd loved the same woman, who'd lost her, who'd found each other in the wreckage and built something new. Not perfect, not without scars, but real and alive and worth fighting for. Outside, the tire swing creaked. Lightning bugs danced. The night settled soft and quiet over their small house in their small town. And inside, three people who'd survived the fire finally learned what it meant to come home.